This is Charlie's Truth audio blog, entry 7. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Hello, friends. Hello, family. Welcome to another entry over here at Charlie's Truth audio blog. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on? I pray that as you are listening to this audio, that you are feeling well. I pray that life is spoiling you and loving all over you and just showing you how good it can get, and that you are open to it and you are going with the flow and you are just saying yes to all the deliciousness. Yeah, that's what I got for y'all. So I feel so blessed. Okay, let me start with that. I feel so blessed. Um, I'm currently sitting in front of my window as it's gloomy out, kind of raining, kind of drizzling, but it just feels so nice to be at the window, sitting right in front of the window with the mic, with the headphones, with my notes, and ready to do this episode. I feel so grateful for this pause and this slowing down of sorts. It's not really a pause, but it is a slowing down for me, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for that invitation. And so, yeah, thank you all because you are all a part of this experience. You're all a part of this invitation. And whenever you do hear this episode, I want to let you know that I'm grateful for you, that I called it episode, this episode or entry is really for all of us. And I pray that you feel that as I come through and in every entry. So today's entry is really inspired by the other day. So the other day, I did an entry what was super impromptu where I was just talking about um, honoring yourself and a moment when I got bored while I was hanging out with a friend. And so the more I processed that experience, I started to think about my dating life. And so I wanted to share with you all some aha moments I've been having, and also just share with you what it's been like as someone who's consciously chosen to start dating. So I'm really going to go on a journey with you all and just share with you all my perspective regarding dating from my own lens and just like the conditioning that happens where you are kind of feeling like you have to date a certain way because that's what you've seen dating to mean, even though it doesn't really align with you. And so I've actually wrote some notes and put up an outline. And so I'm going to attempt to follow it. And at the same time, right, I got to just trust what comes up and trust what feels aligned. And so let's go on it. So to start off, growing up, just FYI, I'm in my mid 30s. We are really getting over this mid, okay, y'all, because your girl is about to turn a big 3-7. That goes down to a 10. That goes to a 10, which means it's a 1. So your girl's about to be in a 1 year when it comes to age. But we can talk about that another time. I feel yeah, we ain't gonna even talk about what I feel like. But yes. So I'm in, I guess, like my late not I guess, my late 30s. Ah! Whoo, I really have to talk about my age, y'all, which is so cute. It's so funny, but I really have to talk about it. I be forgetting because I don't know what I feel like, but I guess what I thought 37 was or 36 was and what I'm experiencing, yeah, it's night and day, baby. It's night and day. So now I understand why people in their 30s were the way they were in their 30s because it makes sense. I was like, bless y'all. Bless those who went before me. So dramatic. I love it. Ah, I'm here for all of this. Okay, so let's get on topic. Okay, we're on topic, but all right, y'all. These audio blogs allow y'all to see some of my processes in my head and see just how I am when I'm alone. Like this is really me all day, every day, just a fun time, just like cackling at myself, just being like, "What, girl?" Like very like, "What is happening right now?" And just being unapologetic about like me being an observer of myself and just being with it. So anywho, so growing up, I didn't really date. And so when I'm talking about growing up, I'm talking about in my 20s, I didn't really date, and in my early 30s, I didn't really date. So let me tell you all my journey. So I have always my first official boyfriend was high school. I was 15. I had boyfriends when I was younger, but you couldn't really have boyfriends, but they was bringing me candy and all the good stuff. So your girl was blessed at a very young age. Back in grade school, your girl was getting the goods. Okay, so, but my first official boyfriend was in high school, and it was someone that actually lived in my neighborhood, and we were friends first. And I used to always flirt with him, and he used to be like, "Don't flirt with me," and I used to be like, "Whatever," and just flirt with him. So after that, I was in a relationship. I got to know someone else who I was friends with first, and we got together. I ended up my first girlfriend was like my best friend at the time. And so like I've always dated people I already knew. So I don't remember a time where I was dating outside people unless like I met them online. But aside from outside meeting people online, and have actually met a partner in a club before, someone that I eventually started dating. But usually I was dating people I already knew. And so that whole dating phase never really happened. And that's just what it was. So for me, it was just like I didn't consider myself dating. Like I had already known these people, then we get in a relationship. And so in those situations, our dating consisted of just us hanging out, doing what we enjoy doing together already. And so as I got older and I see like all these, like if we're talking about social media, I see all these posts about what dating is and how they have to take you out and y'all shouldn't hang out in the house and all these things. But the problem is, what if I am a Netflix and chill kind of girl? Like, what if that's just my thing? I realize about myself, like, this is the thing, I'm not really interested in a lot of outside stuff. That's just my truth. Like, I'm not interested in movies. I'm not interested in I like to go out to eat, but, like, it's not the top of my list. Like, I'm very much into one-on-ones. I love quality time. Quality time used to be my main love language. It was the only love language I was probably comfortable with. And so I'm not really into going out and dating, right? But when you hear all these stories about like, oh, you don't know your worth because you're not dating, because you're not letting these men take you out to date, you Netflix and chilling, you go into his house. But I'm like, what if that's not what I want to do, right? Like, I'm not a shy woman. Like, I'm very clear about what I want. I'm very straightforward with men, with women. Like, if I'm attracted to you, I'll say I'm attracted to you. If I'm sexually attracted to you, I'll say that. If I'm attracted to you and I want to get to know you, I'll say that. Like, I'm very upfront about my feelings when I know them, you know? So I'm not really a person that likes to go in circles and uh-uh. I'm pretty clear. I'm pretty clear about what I want and how I want it. And so I did for a time question whether or not I was doing something wrong by not wanting to go on these traditional type dates. And then the more I grew in love with myself, the more I realized that I just want to accept myself as I am. So if I'm a person who don't like to go out on these idea of traditional dates, then I won't. There's some people who I meet that I do want to go on a date with. Like something about them interests me. Like maybe I do want to go to a museum. Maybe I do want to check out the the sex museum, or I want to check out the MTA museum, or I want to go to the 9/11 situation, or I want to go to um some kind of like rooftop, like who knows, right? Maybe I do want to do these things with this person. But generally, I'm just very chilled. Like I don't really want to do too much. I'm very cozy. I'm a homebody. I just enjoy quality time. Like I want to look at you. I want to spend time with you. I want to just be quiet. I want to see what you like to read. I want to see how you spend your time. Like I want to know you when no one's looking. That's what I want. And then I wanna know you around people, right? So I can see that difference. I can see how you're impacted. So I have my own way of doing things, and I think for a while I wasn't honoring it because I thought it had to be something else. And so bear with me, all. I'm making sure I'm following our outline. Okay, yeah. And so that was my thing. I just don't feel like the traditional dating I've heard about that I'm really interested in. I think even recently too, where people were like, "Oh, the guy took her to a chain restaurant and she was angry." Like I don't have those kind of problems. Like I don't care. I'm very much what's the vibes? Am I interested? I love food. I love trying new restaurants. I definitely will be down with some um burger and lobster. I'm definitely down with red lobster. I love red lobster. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Because I'm also very chilled. So there's gonna be days where I'm not gonna want to dress up, or I don't even know if I'm into five-star restaurants. Like I'm probably not because I always want to be relaxed. I always want to be relaxed, and I don't want to feel like I gotta follow a million rules. That's just way too. Like I just want to be in my natural habitat all the time. And not saying that I can't in a five-star restaurant, but it's just like there's rules, that I probably don't do or don't wanna follow. I don't know. But either way, I'm sure I would do great there, but I don't think that that's something I'm into. But I don't know because maybe I need to go to one to figure that out. So, like, I'm not saying that that's the truth. I'm just saying that I don't know. And so I don't wanna have standards that other people have just because they have them, and I could have that. Like, I'm very much a person, like, I believe each of us as humans is a representation of what's possible. So I'm always people watching. I'm always getting inspired by people. And a lot of people lives, like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I want to experience that, right? Like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that because I feel like we're here to experience as much as life as possible. At least I am. And so if I do feel inspired to go to a five-star restaurant, I will. But I'm not gonna go just be I don't wanna pressure myself into doing something because it's what the masses are doing. And I know that there was a time where I started questioning my beliefs around dating because of all the stuff I saw. And because I was someone who never truly dated in the traditional way, I wasn't sure how it should look. I wasn't sure what it should be like. And so I didn't know. And so I was looking to people who already do it to see if something they said would spark some interest in me. And it kind of never really did. All it really told me is that I want to be comfortable. And so it got to a point where I do like I said, I tend to date people I know, but it got to a place where I really do spend a lot of time home. I really just spend a lot of time home. I'm not a person who has to go to work and be around coworkers, so I wasn't meeting people anymore like I usually would. And so I did I ended up dating one of my exes again. Y'all, I feel like that was a whole lesson in itself, and that was our 3rd time dating. Whew, I tried it. I really did. I really tried it, and I would talk to old Charlie about her behavior, but you know what? Because of her, we are here. Because of her, we are here, and we get it. We got it, okay? And so we give thanks for every experience we've had. It's starting to rain harder, yay! Alright, so hold on. Okay, so anywho, so after dating the ex, I decided, you know what? I really, really want to date. So let me tell y'all that last official relationship I was in. So one thing about me, I don't commit to people just to commit, right? I'm only going to commit in a relationship if I know I absolutely want to be just with you. And the reason for that is because like growing up, I used to emotionally cheat. That was my thing, right? I did some inner work. I realize I understand cheating a little different. And so like I'm not that girl. Like I'm not gonna cheat. I'm not gonna be sneaking around on you. I'm very, very transparent with my partners. And so yeah, like I even want to be with you or I don't. And if I want to be with other people, then I would just say that. So, trust me, y'all, I done journeyed through the idea of being poly, through the idea of just being in open relationships. I've also had the opportunity to uh date a married person that's in open marriage, and it was every listen, all those experiences are so interesting. I will say that. And I have rules around things like that, right? Like I don't play with marriages, and so though I'm not a religious person, I respect things that for whatever reason, I don't fully know how I feel about marriage, but something about it in my soul, I just don't play with it, and I believe that, if someone tells me that they're in an open marriage or whatever else, like, they have to prove it to me. I'm not just gonna believe you because you said you're in an open marriage. Like, if you wanna talk to me, your partner gotta know. So, you can figure out how you want that to happen, but it gotta happen. I'm not gonna be that person that's like, "Oh, well, they told me that y'all were in an open." Nah. Like, and if you can't make sure that if you can't find a way to show me that your partner knows, then it's a no. And it's really that simple. And so I haven't been in one of those situations, but that's just how I feel about it, right? And you don't really know until you're in it. So, cause trust me, I've done something before that I thought I would never do. And so I really don't even play with myself. Like, girl, you are human. A lot of things are possible. I highly doubt you would do that, but just in case, let's put some boundaries up. Dang it. What was I gonna tell you? What was I telling you about? Okay, so the ex. So while I was dating my ex, towards the end, I think first of all, I truly feel like I self-sabotaged that relationship. Like I feel like my inner God was helping me like ruin that relationship because I was so uncomfortable. I could not sleep. Like I was so anxious, y'all. And mind you, I had moved states to be in this relationship. Thankfully, I kept my apartment. So though it was costly, your girl was able to make it back. Make it back. Okay? End it and make it back. So, with that being said, like I was saying, so while I was in that relationship, what I realized, I had said out loud, I think I was talking to my sister and I was just like, I don't want to feel like a failure. And when I heard myself say that, I was like, oh shit. The reason why sometimes I hold on in my relationships or keep trying to make things work is because I am afraid that by the relationship ending that somehow make me feel as if I failed and make other people look at me as if I failed. And so I didn't know this, right? This is all clearly happening subconsciously. But when I said it out loud to my sister, it just woke something up in me, and baby, when I tell y'all, I and that relationship ended so quick, I didn't try another second, okay? Not another second, because when I realized that not only was I holding myself to that standard because I also was feeling like, "Oh, I will be a failure," but I also believe that other people saw it that way. So when I understood what was happening subconsciously, I was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely not." So I had to talk with myself. We're like, "Girl, the purpose of dating is for you to see whether or not you are compatible with this person. That is the purpose of dating. That is the purpose of getting to know people. You are not marrying these people just because y'all decide to be exclusive, to be monogamous. You are still in the courting phase. You are still trying to figure out, does our life integrate well together, right? Do we support each other? Do we uplift each other? Are we the best or better versions of ourselves? Do we help each other grow? Do we feel supported in our purpose? Like, are we aligned? Are we compatible? Like, that is the time. And so, for me to believe that if it doesn't work, that I'm a failure was really sad. I felt sad for myself because I'm like, babe, you are way too hard on yourself. Like, just because you get in a relationship and just because you're willing to compromise and be understanding doesn't mean that it's going to work out. It takes two to tangle, baby. And so after I had that talk with myself and left that relationship, praise the Lord. When I tell y'all I was in such shock after that relationship because I could not believe I had went through what I went through. Like just on an emotional level. But by the time I got back to New York, like I felt like it didn't even happen. Like I can't even put it I was not that same person. Like it didn't even feel real. I like it I guess it was so traumatizing that it did. and woke me up that it didn't even feel real. Okay. So I get back. And so I decide, right after having that experience, I'm like, okay, I am definitely going to date. I want to date and give myself that opportunity to get to know people, give myself that opportunity to just explore connecting with people. I'm not going to rush into any relationships, none of that, right? I'm just going to enjoy dating. And so that's what I did. I got back to New York and y'all, I ended up going online. I forgot what the app is called, but I think it was on her. I end up going, not I think, it was her. So I ended up going online and just like meeting people. And I met one person in person and then another. And I'm not sure how it all, I don't remember fully, but I do know I ended up talking to someone for some months and getting to know them and just like really taking what I learned in my relationship into my new situations, right? And really giving myself space to just enjoy myself, right? Get to know people, figure out what you want, figure out what works, what doesn't work. And I always learn so much about myself through relationships. And so I was learning a lot about myself too. And there was connections, but there was also reasons why I was like, no, it's a no for me. And I also started to realize that, y'all, I'm not even about to start talking about Aquarius because that is a whole other topic. I was about to tell y'all about this journey I had with Aquarius, but I will say this: Aquarius sons have been great teachers for me. They have taught me how to fully accept myself because through them I learned about how people project on you, how sometimes people criticize you and pick at you because they are not at peace with themselves. And a lot of times I would get in relationship with people and they would pick at things and I would try to change and adjust, even though they never asked, but just because of the way they went about it, right? Like I was trying to please and be accommodating and all these things. And then I would get out of relationships and feel like I lost myself, right? Like feeling like I wasn't my true self anymore. And so I started to recognize when that was happening in relationships, when I was pouring so much into relationships that I wasn't pouring into myself, or I was getting pulled into my relationship so much that I was no longer a individual. Like I was just so pleasing to these relationships. And so I'm recognizing all these things about myself, right? Y'all, I'm just like learning a whole bunch of things, recognizing things, making new choices with this new awareness. And your girl is moving along in life, okay? And so like I said, I decided to consciously start dating, being super mindful. We not committing, da, 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 right? We focus. I have often been someone who didn't pray or ask God for partners. Like when I was in a relationship, I would pray over my relationships. I would pray for clarity. If I thought something was up, I would pray for clarity, right? Pray for things to come out, for the truth to always be revealed, and it would be. So but I never really prayed for partnerships in the sense of like, I want to be with someone right now. And I think a part of me was scared to ask. I was scared to ask because I was scared to be disappointed. And so I just let life go and do what it does. However, this year, calendar year 2024, I'm loud and proud about like, my partner is coming in this year. I am calling it in. I am accepting it. I am ready. I am preparing. Oh yeah, it's happening. It's happening, baby. So with that being said, so the other day when I was telling y'all about how I got bored, I was hanging out with someone that I'm getting to know. And so me and this person, we have like this strong connection and it's very like spiritual slash it's just energetic. Like we just have this strong connection. And so again, y'all, this ain't the first time I'm talking to this person. Bless my heart. I'm telling y'all, we can go months without seeing each other. The minute we see each other, we're like back to where we started in our cycle of just like being obsessed with each other and then I get bored. I be obsessed and then I get bored. But let me tell you what I realized this time that I didn't notice before. I always used to say that we are not compatible. I did not understand how we were so energetically pulled to each other, but we were just not compatible. We have nothing in common besides that we love sex and we love food. Like we have nothing else in common. And we're great cuddlers and we enjoy cuddling. So I started this time around, something in my spirit was like, you know, this person from a past life, right? And so this was my belief. My belief was that maybe we had a soul contract where we were supposed to meet up in this lifetime, and maybe whatever we both were supposed to do, one of us didn't do it, or both of us didn't do what we were supposed to do, and therefore we're not aligned, right? We may be energetically pulled to each other, but we're not aligned, right? So that was like my belief. And I was just like, that's probably why I get so frustrated with him, because I just know that things should was supposed to be different, right? Like not on a conscious level, but subconsciously, only because of how like our interaction is. So I have a psychic that I go to, that I met this year, that I trust. And so I ended up hitting my psychic up. Like I don't give full details. All I asked was like, what's up with me and this person? What is our connection? And they affirmed for me too, like, oh, y'all were together in a past life back in the 1800s. Y'all were siblings. Things didn't work out for y'all. Your parents died and something happened with the inheritance money. So y'all were beefing. And now y'all, I'm paraphrasing. Paraphrasing. They didn't say it like this. I'm saying this. But basically, this is a karmic relationship, but whatever's supposed to happen in it, we're both supposed to grow from it. So once I got the confirmation, I was like, all right, I'm not tripping, right? Like I feel this. And mind you, I didn't tell him that I didn't tell the psychic that I thought any of this. I just gave the name and was like, yo, what's up with this energy? And so that was that, right? So once I got the confirmation, I just like sent it to one of my homegirls and was like, girl, what did I say? Like I am not tripping. And my friend also knows the psychic, and she knows how he operates too, right? Because she's also going to him now too. And so we both just like kikiing about it, because we had already came to peace with like, listen, y'all are attracted to each other. It just is what it is. Girl, do what you want until it no longer feels correct, right? Like, because I was being really hard on myself, because I'm like, we have nothing in common. We are not compatible. Why am I so drawn, right? And at the end of the day, I'm always in control of me, but I wanted it too. Like, if I'm being honest with myself, I was enjoying myself. So, so all this happens, right? And so like that day we were hanging out, and they came over and they were just hanging, and the whole thing was just like, oh, I want to spend time with you. But then they went to sleep. So I'm just like, because they were drinking. And so like I don't have an issue with people drinking, but I'm very clear about like, if you act a certain way while you're drinking and I don't enjoy it, I'm gonna just be like, I don't wanna hang out with you, while you're drinking, which is no big deal. Like that's just how I feel. And I'll be honest about it. But either way, when some people when they drink and they high, like they just want to sleep, right? Which is fine, do you. So they come over and we were supposed to hang out. I'm telling all my business. I doubt they would listen. So here we go. Um, so they would come over and we would hang out, and they were just sleeping, right? After they just made us think about me not being available to hang out. So then they just sleeping. I'm not tired. So I'm not about to go to sleep, right? So I was just like, but before that, I was already feeling bored, because I didn't realize it before, but I think not I think, after they left, what I realized was, I often say that we have nothing in common, right? I used to say this before, but this time I saw it and I felt it. And what's different this time is that I don't drink. I'm all, like I don't drink. So I'm not getting lost in any I'm just present, And so what I notice, I'm just like, we really have nothing in common. And all we like it's just a rotation of three things that we do. And I'm bored now. I'm bored now because I'm not horny, right? So I'm not really needing sex. And so I'm not being mentally stimulated, which is so important for me. So I'm not turned on. You know, Nothing we're doing I actually enjoy. Nothing we're doing together I actually enjoy. So I'm not really feeling anything. I'm bored now. And so as I'm processing all of this, I'm like, yo, this is why compatibility is so important. And I started to think about, you know, right, having that conversation, because I'm just like, there's nothing either one of us can say in a conversation that changes the reality of things. Because you can't say, so he enjoys going to movies, right? Go into a movie theater to see movies. You can't say, "Oh, well, just do things that I enjoy doing." Well, I don't enjoy doing those things, right? So they don't do anything for me. And like, yes, I can do them every once in a while for you, but nothing I really enjoy you are into. So what are we doing? And so I started to really think, and I'm just like, these are one of those moments where I felt the need to remind myself, right? I had to have a sit down with Charlie and be like, girl, this is a perfect example of why people, in this case you, should be dating people who y'all have things that y'all both enjoy together. And a reason for that, because even if I go to the movies with this man, right, and do the things he wants to do, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not fulfilled. I would rather be doing other stuff. And so I was like, so yeah, we can both, try to compromise and try to make each other happy, but how long is that going to last when that's not the truth of who we are? That's not the truth of what we enjoy. And so I started to think like this for me, in my opinion, this is one of those situations where I feel like you should date people who are already interested in what you do, what you're interested in. You should date people that is already interested in what you're interested in, instead of trying to date someone and make them interested in what you're interested in. I just don't like, the more I thought about it, I'm like, I just don't think there's anything either one of us can do to change and become the person that the other wants. Like, and it also just doesn't make sense to me. It just feels like a lot for nothing. And I say for nothing because I just feel like it's not a strong enough foundation, because it's already rocky, because all this is like, in my opinion, kind of forced, kind of constantly being created as opposed to just naturally flowing. And so when I realized that, I was like, wow, 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 wow. I have said we're not compatible. I have known that, but I guess I really didn't understand it until this time around. Like, I clearly get that why being compatible with someone and why having similar interests are so important. And why I also don't feel like you should try to make that person into that, but date someone who's already into it. Date someone who you are already similarly compatible to, or who is just an open person. Because both of us, me and old boy, we both fixed energy. We both are very like grounded in who we are. We are very like fixed. And I do consider myself open-minded. I do believe that I'm open-minded. But at the same time, I do have strong boundaries, and I'm very clear sometimes when I'm just like, "Oh, I'm not doing that." Like, that's not even a conversation. I'm just not doing it, you know? And so everybody's different, but I know for myself, what I realize is like, I do wanna be compatible with who I want, and I don't wanna have to build a man, and I don't want anyone to feel like they need to build me to be what they want when they can just go and have what they actually want. And as I'm talking now, I'm like, "Yo, girl, we know this." But I think, like, having the actual experience is just so different. And so I realize that now. Like, we had a good vibe. We have a good vibe. We are deeply connected spiritually, but we just do not have similar interests. We're just not into the same things. And it's no judgment on the other. It's no good or bad. I just feel like it's just for me, it's just a nice example of like people who aren't compatible. Like, you got so much. Like, I love the way we both love. I love how connected we are. I love how safe I feel around them. I love all of that, and I'm really happy for both of us haven't had this experience. But I have to be honest with myself. I'm just not satisfied. I'm bored, and this isn't the first time. And I started to notice like this what has been the cycle. I get bored, and then we end up fighting, like not getting along, and I get irritable. And so this time around, I am not irritable. I am not getting annoyed. I'm being very mindful not to project. I'm being very mindful of how I feel, because I'm like, girl, you feel this way. It's your responsibility to deal with it. But blaming or getting annoyed with him being who he is, or like, being short with him because you know that you ain't feeling this and you just annoyed, you're like, oh, can this end already? Girl, end it. If you want it to end, end it. Like, or like, I know I'm trying to like take my time so I can know how to address it, but like, it just, by the time this is out, it will be addressed. Y'all have my word. Um, I have my word anyway. But the whole thing is just like, I just learned so much. And it's just like, I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful. And I don't see these situations as good or bad, negative or positive. Even telling y'all the story doesn't really feel bad for me, but I know that I not I know. I imagine that there will be someone out there in the ethers who hear this and have their opinions or their thoughts about it. And I want to tell y'all, listen, each of us have an opportunity to make choices. And the other side of all of this is I'm always going to feel like I could have done something differently. So I'm always going to look back at something and be like, you could have done something differently. That's just a reality because there's always so many options. But I trust that I'm always doing what's correct for me in the moment. Now, wherever that leads, it leads. But I always do what is best for me in the moment with the information, the understanding that I have. And so, it may not be everybody cup of tea, but I operate the way I operate because that is the way I'm designed. That is the way that feels correct and aligned for me. And that's just who I choose to be. And it feels aligned for me. And so I think just like I talked about the whole dating situation, the reality is we are all designed differently. We're all unique. And when we release the conditioning and the ideas from the communities we're a part of, the cultures we're a part of, and all these other standards of the masses, we find our own voice, and in connecting with our own voice, we get the courage to start being our most authentic selves. And that may not always align with the way that the world works or the way we know the world works or the way we believe it should work. But that doesn't make it wrong, it's just different. And so for me, having this experience is beautiful. And I promise y'all, sometimes when I think about how I show up in my relationships and I think about just like my nonchalant attitude or my lack of emotions period about situations, I be concerned. I'm like, is this normal? Like, or I hope I'm not hurting nobody's feelings because I just don't feel anything. Um but I do my best, I do my best in every moment, and that's all I can do, but I do love and appreciate that I am not attached to people, because that allows me to be honest with them. That allows me to release relationships when they're ready to naturally release themselves. And to think that this is a karmic, or to know that this is a karmic relationship, like this relationship just needs to live its natural course, right? And whatever happens, happens. But I'm not going to stick around or be, dating this person who I know wants to be in a committed relationship. And that's why I've been like really trying to process like, can I see us together? Do I see us together? Because they have told me like there's only so much longer that they're gonna be doing this back and forth. Like they need to know, which I appreciate too, because I would have been the same way. Probably, like, if I wanted to be settled down with someone. So, I get it. Or if I wanted to be committed to someone, I get it. So, but I owed it to myself and I owed it to him to get clear on how I feel and what I want and to be able to be honest about that. And so, like, I feel like that's the process I'm in now. And when I recognize that we are just like not compatible, like I'm at peace because and I now understand what it means to not be compatible. I also understand now what it means to uh not have the same interests and how that impacts a relationship. I feel like I didn't really pay attention to how that can impact a relationship. And now I see. And this year I've been really focused on, like I told y'all earlier, like I really do believe that my partner is coming in. And interestingly enough, I'm not gonna tell y'all the whole story, but I did get a Akashic records reading where I was told like, "Yo, you have a twin flame in this lifetime, and they're coming in." And so I feel like I'm in preparation right now, right? I've been cooking more. I'm learning how to cook, and I've been cooking more, and I just really, really enjoy cooking, and I really enjoy just taking care of people, and I'm ready to share my life with someone. Like I'm actually ready to share my life with someone, but I don't just want to share with just any old body. So my plan is to say no until I'm ready to say yes. To say that's not it until I'm ready to say yes. Because I'm so worthy of a aligned partner, a partner I enjoy, that I'm proud of, that I'm excited about, that we're obsessed with each other, that we're just having a good time together, that we have our separate lives, but when our lives integrate, it's just a beautiful, beautiful flow, that we inspire each other, that we just help each other just glow up that much more, right? That we are just compatible and that we are evenly yoked. Like, I just know that's for me. I have always felt, and my friends can say this, for years I've always said, like, I really believe that I have a person in this life and that that person is going to come into my life and not be a savior, but there's something about what they're going to bring to my life that's going to help it tenfold and going to help me in my purpose. I have no idea what that is, but I have a feeling that wherever they are and they come in, it's going to be this beautiful connection. And so that is just different, and just and I feel like all my relationships, all my connections, no matter what the experience was like, that they were always different and they always gave me so much, and even in the moments where I felt like exhausted or drained, my heart was just broken more open to see the truth of who I am and to honor myself more and to love on myself more and to be kinder to myself, and accept myself too, because there's been times where I just felt like there was no space for my emotions in my relationships. And so I had never really had emotional support or security. And so, in my opinion, I also didn't accept my own emotions, right? And so it made sense that other people wasn't accepting them. And I'm learning that too. Like, the more I just grow in love with myself, the more I feel like the world does too, where I'm not code switching, where I'm not trying to give disclaimers about who I am or disclaimers about how I see everything as energy. Like, I get to just talk and just get to be myself, and I'm at peace regardless of everybody external reactions. And so there's just been something really, really beautiful about, this radical self-acceptance and just how that impacts your life and your connections with the world. And so, yeah, I'm really just grateful for all these experiences and even just this moment to even have this experience to share with you all. And I don't know where you are in your dating life or how old you are or any of those things, what your goals are. But I hope that, like, you're honoring whatever it is that you want from a relationship or in a relationship or how you want to show up in a relationship, that you get to have that you get to have peace and enjoy peace, and that together, like, y'all are a true partnership and that you feel like a partnership. And so, yeah, or it feels like whatever it is you want a relationship to feel like, honestly. And so, like, yeah, I know for me it's been taking a journey to learn not just about myself, but about relationships and what is important to me and how I want to show up in them and what I want to create through them. And so I'm really just grateful. I'm really excited that I now understand the whole idea of compatibility and having things in common and why it's important for your relationship. I just think it's so hilarious how I get bored. It's such a perfect emotion to have, to let you know, like, girl, this ain't it. This ain't it. We can't sustain this long term, girl. It burned out, okay? It burned out, baby. And that's okay. Let it go. Let it go. Okay. Let's see whatever notes I have here before I head out. Yeah, I had something here about, surface level interactions led to boredom and intermittent relationships. And that's exactly what it was. It's very surface level. And so, I like I said earlier, I want to know people deeply. I want to know your story. I want to know how you became who you are. Like, why do you express the way you do? What was your life like? Like, I just want more. I just want more than what I'm getting. And so I'm not going to stop there. I'm just going to keep moving along until I find someone more aligned for me. Yeah, and that's why I wrote here. Instead of trying to get someone to be into what you're into, why not date someone who is into that? Like, why not? Why not just go for someone who's already there? The thing for me is, like, know what you enjoy, know what you value, and keep that in mind while you're dating. I think that that's like one of the biggest lessons I learned is, like, I need to keep my values in mind. What's important to me? What kind of life I want to create? What kind of life am I building? And how do you play a part in that? How do you influence that? How do you impact that, right? Like, what else are you going to bring into our relationship, right? Do you have kids? What's your relationship like with your family? Like, I want to know all these things. And I also feel like I don't know if I want I'm also curious about my feelings towards I don't know what kind of like if I want a partner that I do know this. I think I'm questioning whether or not how strong it is anyway. But I am curious about whether or not I want someone who has family ties, who are very connected to their family. I'm wondering. I think I know I want that, but I don't fully know what that looks like. So that's what's interesting. But I don't need to know what that looks like. All I need to know is like I do desire that. Some way, somehow I desire that. Like I would enjoy if they had a relationship with their family. I just would. Because it will also give me a different experience, right? If we get really serious, it will give me a different experience being around a family that's really connected and like just lovey dovey and all the beautiful things. So um I really you all I'm telling you now about the reading I got that told me I have a twin flame. w- Things have already the things that they told me would happen have already started happening. Now, when, not if, when I meet this twin flame, that is when I will reveal to you all everything that I was told. Um, and y'all will see the proof of it. I won't just tell you, I will show you. And then y'all can decide for yourselves what your thoughts are. And so that's one thing. So that's another thing. We'll talk about that more because I'm gonna be here. Because I'm gonna be here when it happens. I will still be at Charlie's Truth Audio Blog. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking at these notes. I said all that. Oh, I did all of this, y'all. Mention the importance of ending relationships that. Oh yeah, mention the importance of ending relationships that lack compatibility to avoid negative behavior. I already told y'all. I noticed that I be projecting. Like it just be triggering it just be triggering me. I told y'all part of it was that I believe that part of me gets annoyed because subconsciously I know or energetically I know that I get frustrated that like I don't know like I want this person to be something that they're not, right? Because that's really what it boils down to. I'm just not accepting the truth of who they are. Like I'm fighting against it. And that's why frustration comes up, at least for me, because it's really a feeling of like pushing against something, right? Instead of just allowing it to be what it is and getting out the way, I try to jump in front of it and stop it. And it's like, girl, move out the way. Like that's why you getting hit and you getting annoyed because it's not happening the way you want. But like, move out the way. Move out the way. And so I did recognize that too about myself. And it's also helped me to not do that because now I'm just like, girl, let it go. Which is beautiful. Oh, I'm happy for it, right? Like, listen, y'all, I'm down for whatever helps me be a kinder person. I'm down for whatever it takes for me to be kinder, to embody kindness, to embody joy, to embody flow and ease. Like, I'm down with it. Like, I am cool with my human experience. I'm down with it. And that's what radical self acceptance has gifted me because I'm not like, yeah, like, this is my ego, my persona. I'm so much more than this. Imma be alright. We gonna be alright, and I can own up and take accountability for how I'm showing up. And so, yeah, your girl was fighting against what is when no, let it go. It's so interesting. I keep singing that, but okay, that's where I'm at. Yeah, and I think again, y'all know I'm looking over the notes. I think that I'm telling y'all that realizing, I'm telling y'all that realizing that relationships ending is not failing has been a fucking gift of liberation. It has literally gotten me out of my self-imposed prisons and these dramatic cycles of whatever the hell these be. This one is fine. Like what me and old boy is dealing with is nothing. Like, cause it's just feelings that need to be expressed. That is just kind of, at least for me, just lingering. But I'm sure he noticed something because I haven't really been too talkative. I told y'all about like how I'm dating now and I'm being honest with myself about whether or not this relationship gonna work, what's not working. And this is another thing. I also have a line 3 in my profile in human design. Let me tell you about a line 3. A line 3 when it comes to relationships, they are what so period. Line 3s are all about bonds made and broken. Not all about, but that's part of it. It's about bonds made and broken. So they are very much as a line 3, we are very much into being in a relationship, and if something is off in that relationship, we need to figure out how to fix it, right? So we either gonna take a step back and recalibrate and reset the relationship and see if it gets better, or we gonna leave if it's just not aligning. And so that's where I'm at. And I feel like that's another reason why I'm designed the way I am as far as like being detached from situations. Like no matter how much I love you, I will leave. That's just the truth. And like, yeah, maybe it might take a little while, but when I'm gone, baby. And like usually like if me and this individual like if I don't see you, I'm a very out of sight, out of mind kind of person. So I'm not thinking about you if I don't see you. And so I have a lot of ways about me that just helps me be unbothered about a lot of things in this world because I really be in the present for the most part. And also it's just out of sight, out of mind. And also I understand that I don't own nothing in this world. I get to experience things and we get to move on. And so I'm not really too tied to anything. And that's just how I am. That's just the way. And I enjoy being this way. So yeah, I feel like that's about it, right? I wanted to tell y'all about that and about my journey with dating and about how I realized that, from telling y'all the other day about how I was bored to realizing that the reality of it is like compatibility is important. Having a similar interest is important for me because when that is not there, once I already get my come fix, then I'm done. Or like my need for touch and intimacy. Once I get my fix, my dose, I'm gonna be bored. I'm not gonna want nothing. And then I'm not stimulated. The passion has worn off. It's just, yeah. So I recognize that. I'm acknowledging it and I'm going to see where that takes me. See where this awareness takes me and this acceptance takes me. And so I'm excited. And I will love to hear about, any reflections y'all have for what I said or any questions you have, whatever it is, like hit me up. Let me know about y'all dating life. Let me know what you learned from dating. What are your like what's important to you, in dating and getting to know someone, or if you're married or in a relationship, what is important to you? What do you value the most? What do you wish you knew? What do you wish you had done differently? Like, yeah, share some lessons with us. We probably could all like consider it and who knows. But like I said, y'all, I really wanted to and I did accept the fact that like whatever idea of dating is for everybody else, it may not be for me. And so I just trust myself when I'm with the person, what it is I enjoy doing with them, and I do that. Like, I'm no longer forcing myself to do things I don't want to do. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't serve me because I know I can't sustain it. If I learned anything in this lifetime, is that I can't sustain anything that isn't truly embodied in me, right? And so we can embody and believe in certain values and beliefs, right? We can condition ourselves, but if those things aren't already embodied. Like there's only so long you'll be able to sustain it. And if you can't integrate it well enough to make it embodied, it's only so much you can sustain it without like feeling feeling some density within yourself and or starting to experience a not self, which is like your not aligned self or you not being acting and showing up as your true self. That's all it's gonna do is activate that. When we are not honoring ourselves, we activate the not self. We activate the versions of ourselves that are not aligned with our soul's truth. That's where you see like you're dissatisfied with life, like everything is overwhelming. You feel like nothing is going right. You're exhausted all the time. y- you're pessimistic, yeah. um yeah, all these things can really like just pour into your life when you're living out of integrity with your soul. So it does impact you, right? So being a people pleaser, trying to do stuff just to make someone else happy and not honoring yourself, it hurts everyone. It really does. And we may not see it right away, but it hurts everyone. And so we can get further into that conversation some other day. But I want to say that I'm super excited. I'm looking forward to what is next. I'm so happy that I now understand, to the extent I do, that compatibility is important and surface level just isn't ever going to be fulfilling enough for me. And that's okay. And I can communicate that without being rude about it, with being lighthearted about it, being kind about it. And yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just being mindful of the person I'm talking to. Yeah, I think that that's what I mentioned before in another entry, how I sometimes try to avoid people emotional outbursts, and so I won't say something because I already imagine how they're gonna react, and so I feel like a part of me has been hesitant to speak up. But now that I got clear clarity, like, no, this is it. This is the clarity I needed and wanted, and so I can have a discussion about it and, whatever. Make it do my best to see. I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to control the outcome. Whatever happens, happens. But yeah, I just gotta do my part. With that being said, I love you all. I hope that this was helpful of some sort or inspiring in some way. That it planted a seed in your life in some way or another. And yeah, I'm really grateful that you are here. I'm really grateful to be here with you. Mm. Can we take a deep breath together? Yeah, let's do that. All right, let's do it. Breathing in for 3 and breathing out. Deep, deep gratitude. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for listening in. I pray that the rest of your day is the best of your day. And I'm sending you a virtual hug. You are amazing. You are enough. And I'm so grateful for this space. So, you have been listening to Charlie's Truth audio blog, entry 7. I'll see you, or you'll hear from me tomorrow. Love you the most. Hey, hey, buck it up, buck it up, buck it up, buck it up. Love you. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the time. It is 57 minutes. All right, y'all, I'm out of here.